not adduce any basis or evidence to substantiate that claim.
I didn't say that.
Or to even necessitate an investigation.
Sammy.
What you are doing is that you are defending the indefensible.
Sammy, you know
that. You are justifying something which is totally wrong.
Sammy, you know that. Hold on.
At least you have given every parliament.
Hold on. I get that. Listen to my question.
You can give me 2-3 minutes before your question.
Hear my question.
You cannot ask me a question or truncate me after every sentence.
I'm not truncating you.
You don't have a lot of things to say. They said a lot of things.
I'll let you say that. So, you know that acts of corruption, drug deals,
yes,
they happen in the underworld.
Yes.
It's difficult to prove them.
Yes.
So sometimes, or most often, it is suspicion that is triggered for the investigation to happen.
My brother, it is not suspicion that is triggered for investigations to happen. And we are not talking about suspicions here. Let's not overly dwell on the word suspicion. I read a direct quote from their press conference to you. They alleged that they had credible intelligence.
The press release is right before you. You are reading from somewhere else.
Being a nuisance. Your constituents are
exception to that.
You are disgracing yourself.
I take exception to that.
It is not your time to speak.
I take exception to that derogatory. I can imagine.
Allow me to speak. Stop this.
The cocaine in the middle of who are you covering?
Look, I can
imagine your discomfort is better than you.
Can you let
being a nuisance?
Okay.
I can imagine your discomfort.
You stated categorically that you have to tell it.
I will not accept.
Now you are here. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you care about Ghana, you love Ghana.
You said more terrible
when you were to be true, the allegations
now we are calling you to investigate
the allegations you made. At least you would have shared that intelligence with the people of Ghana. And you see the impudence
and sensitivity.
Thank you very much. Reverend Ntim Fordjou is here in the studio with us. Thanks for joining us. So you've heard the response from the government. You were very clear, and for saying that these cargo, flights carried, in your words, cash in various US dollar denominations, supposes that you had full information about what was on the flight.
Thank you, Samson. I'm excited to be on your show. Good morning to my very good brother, Mr. Bento, my uncle, Prof. Enin, and all my friends will be joining very shortly, and our esteemed viewers. I must quickly indicate that in the exercise of oversight as parliamentarians, we are in the minority caucus. This issue, this press conference, took place at a time where we were on recess, and so Parliament had not convened. Just quickly to address the concerns my uncle, Professor Enin, tenably raised about how to be circumspect in handling matters of security and all that. Just for him to have the full picture and appreciate. So there were 3 matters that were already in the public, security matters. One was the national security raid that was conducted by the NIB in Sapiman on intelligence. They went with cameras in full glare of the public. They circulated it for the public to know that yes, there's transparency, and if you hide anything, we'll fish you out. I applauded them for that. And then there was another cocaine.
It was about the 12-20-footer container.
Absolutely.
That was supposed to be carrying gold, right?
Absolutely.
Gold bars.
And cash.
Okay.
Then around the same time, there was also some high-profile cocaine busts.
And that was in February.
February 9th, exactly.
Okay.
Then there was also a cocaine bust in Takoradi, early March, totaling about a street value of about $150 million. Subsequent to that, there was another high-profile cocaine bust of $350 million. And then they put it out in the media. There was also another incident, which for the first time in about 3 years, we had never had. Pirates attacking a fishing vessel on Ghanaian waters. And Ghana Armed Forces so responsibly put out a press release, detailed the incident and investigations that were being carried. So we held a press conference as minority caucus, calling on the security apparatus to provide us updates into these incidents that have come.
No issues have been raised with this.
No, yes. So, but the conversation.
Let's go for the
we'll go to that. But I just want for you to know, it was a single press conference. The Air Med flight was the second issue among the other issues. And we're asking them that, what is the status of all these? Now, we have not even had any questions from them yet. We'll come to that. We haven't had any answers. We haven't had any, and I thought the media, I shouldn't even have put this, question out there. But the media accompany national security. And 2 months on, we have not had any prosecution of the perpetrators. No one has been arraigned before court. The drugs that were busted, nobody has been arraigned before court. And we are asking, what is the status of these, including the air-med suspicious flights, which also came in around the same time. Now, people are so interested in
the
prosecution of Fordjou. They're not interested in prosecution of the.
That is the allegation you have raised.
Yes,
and that's what we are interrogating. That's a matter of controversy now.
So in the matters,
by the way you detailed what you understood to be the cargo that was brought in, a cargo of cash and cocaine, it meant that you had knowledge.
So I have a copy of the press conference here, and we even played a video. We said that our intel has intercepted a certain information, and that information has it that 2 suspicious flights out of thousands of flights which fly in and depart month by month, out of all that, only 2 were deemed to be suspicious, because the one came in around exactly 12th March, departed 25th March from Gran Canaria and returned to Gran Canaria. The second also came in 20th March and departed 25th March. The one that even came in on 20th March is an air ambulance. He stayed in, and our intel further indicates that there was no patient on board the ambulance, and there was no organ on board, there was no corpse on board, and there was no patient or organ that was taken out on their return. And all of them returned to Gran Canaria. And there are antecedents about Gran Canaria when it comes to transnational issues on money laundering and cocaine and all that, those concerns. There are those antecedents. So, given all those background, and the suspicion indicated that there were movements to and from the flight, suspected to be cocaine and cash. And therefore, we are asking the authorities, in the full principle of transparency, which they have demonstrated even in the raid they conducted at Sappiman with cameramen, just to show that we are doing these operations, those security operations, but transparently. They should give us information to verify what is the actual content, because this is a suspicion. Was it truly cocaine? And
they have given you information.
And if it is not,
they have given you information about one of the cargo, and they've shown you video footage, and you say that is even fake.
Yeah.
So what's the guarantee that if you got a video footage of the content of the air-med, that one too, you will not say that is fake?
My very good brother Samson, even the handling of this matter by the government is problematic and gives them away. These are specific security matters. When the Parrot incident came, Fordjou was not the one who spoke for the Ghana Armed Forces. So why is he trying to now arrogate to himself the spokesperson of security agencies?
Can we stay on the matters?
We stay on the matters of fact. We are stating.
Yeah, let's stay on the matters of fact.
Yes. So in respect of the related,
you have been giving what you have requested. You have been giving a disclosure showing you the contents of the cargo, and it is not cocaine, it is not cash,
and that content is not something that anyone can believe, and even the entire narrative is false, because the assertion that the flights that Cabot Air came from Rwanda and came to land here to obtain permit to enter EU is neither here nor there, and they claim that Angola doesn't even have the certification to give permits. It's false, because that same airport that he references in Angola obtained that certification to issue RA3 permits way back November 2024. So that assertion is false. So on that premise of his assertion, what else should we even take as true?
So what is the alternative?
And you
have been shown what is supposed to be the cargo,
and it is false.
What is supposed to be the content?
It is false.
You say that is fake, that is false. Now you say it is false. So what was in it? Cocaine and money?
No, I'm establishing a point. It cannot also be believed, because the response Fordjou put out there, it's not credible. the routing of the itinerary of the flight is even inaccurate, because your own station Joy News, when I put out the information, and NDC quickly came in and did politics and debunked it. Fordjou, a Reverend Minister, is lying, no such flight had come. Quickly Joy News took the pain, checked the itinerary, and confirmed that indeed these two flights entered. Then they sat up. Now check the same fact Joy News verified and put out, indicating the itinerary of Kavok Air, and they will tell you it's completely different from the itinerary that Kwacho Fosu put out.
Thank you for that. Let's stay here.
So he has put out inaccurate information.
Let's stay here. You said the plane came and offloaded cargo and then took cargo back. The cargo you say it's offloaded. At least one of the planes, you haven't shown the cargo. So should we take it that you don't have suspicions anymore? Because you said it was suspicion, and you have been shown that it is not cocaine, it is not money.
Now the credibility of that video and information is in doubt, and I say so because if NIB, if Narcotics Control Commission, if Ghana Airports Company, if Police CID, Ghana Armed Force, these relevant agencies had put out information, the credibility is high, and there will be no inaccuracies, and there would have been no crimes. That's all we asked for. We simply asked for facts. And when the armed forces brought the facts,
Reverend, you are saying that if it was NACOB or the other
absolutely
that told you or showed you this footage,
then you would want to believe.
The presidency has shown, you would have been okay with it.
You would have believed it, because
okay. So my question again to you is that
because
you have a suspicion. You have a suspicion. You have now been shown contrary evidence. You disbelieve that contrary evidence. So where is the alternative evidence?
Now, whenever this question is asked, the counter question I ask is that the moment you put out a credible information, the burden of proof shifts. When I put it out there and they doubted, but Joy News checked and indicated that indeed those flights had come.
So in fact, the burden has not gone anywhere yet, because a multitude of suspicions don't constitute proof. And so you have not given any proof.
Very well.
Before the burden shifts.
Very well. Let me continue to respond to your question.
That alleges must prove.
Very well.
Where's your proof? So, we have shown you the proof. So you disbelieve.
We have released our press conference, our press statement, and we have stated in there.
You are talking
that
about
our intel. Yes, please. Our suspicion is it not the people who gave them intel, upon which intel they went to raid Sapima, upon which intel they went to raid the containers containing cocaine. Samson, going by your logic, did they enter the container to take pictures of the cocaine, took samples of it, brought it as real physical tangible evidence, and brought it to national security? That this is our proof, this is our evidence that there's container in Takoradi, another one in Cape Coast containing cocaine. Therefore, act on it. If we are in this country and suddenly want to say that before a ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee will ask a simple question of suspicion for relevant authorities to investigate and put out credible information, and that query is evaded by politicians who can't champion the PR of it and prevent the security agencies from undertaking their investigations and credible communication, and demand that the ranking member must bring pictures and samples of the cash and cocaine suspected to be in the flight, then what was the basis for recalling for inquiry and investigations into it? If I don't have a picture and a sample of the cocaine, then I have no gravitas to ask for investigation. Is that a kind of logic? Please, in this matter,
so you are saying
if the government of Ghana is not serious about it,
anybody can get up any day in this country and raise an alarm, and the government should go investigating. And when it investigates and it brings you what it says, this is what the truth is supposed to be.
What investigation?
They should be entitled.
No, please, let me tell you.
Hold on.
No investigation has been done.
They should be entitled to say what the government is showing is false, is fake, and we shouldn't believe that.
Samson, what he put out there cannot be taken seriously, because yesterday I debated Kwachu Fosu.
The point is
no,
here.
Please.
Reverend,
and he stated no investigation has been done.
You're not answering my question.
You said
you're not answering my question.
An investigation has been done, for which he has put this information, and I'm telling you, he himself said no investigation has been done
yet.
You
say that you have a suspicion.
Yeah.
Have you moved beyond the suspicion?
We have put out the suspicion we had.
So have you moved beyond suspicion?
To where?
Because you have been shown evidence of the content of the cargo.
And that is not credible. That content
so
is not
it
credible.
means you are not dealing with suspicion, right?
No, that content is not credible, and Samson,
it is not credible because you are not dealing with suspicion. Is that correct?
If you will indulge, the moment we put this information out there, the president responded and called for investigation into the matter, and even called for collaboration. I further wrote for that directive that the president had given to be undertaken. I wrote on 2nd April for it. NDC Parliamentary Caucus wrote a letter to gag that process, so it never came on. Subsequent to that,
you put out the information.
No,
before
please,
belatedly,
Samson,
you sought to use the Defense and Interior Committee to want to ask questions, correct?
Not ask questions. If you read
my letter,
if you read my letter,
your press conference precedes the 2nd of April.
So my press conference was 1st April.
Correct.
President responded and called out my name, that he has constituted NACOC, Police ID, NID, National Security, to conduct investigations into the matters, collaborating with me. Whilst waiting for invitation which never came, I volunteered, and as a member of parliament and a ranking member, making such press release or statement in my capacity as such, used appropriate parliamentary procedure to have that collaboration established. No, not belatedly.
So from hindsight, do you feel that is what you should have done first before you went public with the suspicion? The suspicion you now elevate beyond suspicion, even in the face of contrary facts being put to you.
Assertion that you cannot engage the fourth estate in matters of security. It's a fallacy. That assertion,
that's not the assertion.
No, yes.
The assertion is
that you cannot engage. It is inappropriate to engage media in matters of security. It's a fallacy.
Spread false information
has been spread.
To spread false information.
Asking, that's your conclusion.
And
that's the conclusion of Fosu.
Can you tell me? Can you tell me where your evidence?
No, that's your firm. What was the evidence of the cocaine intel? Did they bring pictures? I've asked you this question.
So if they have credible intel, they follow. Have you given them credible intel?
No, and I'm telling you is how faulty is the intel I gave them. Let me tell you, see, this whole political thing about the response is what gives the government away, that they are indeed shielding something. But the international community has taken interest. Yesterday, the government spokesperson said, Kwachu Fosu said that when he was quizzed about the directive given by President Mahama about investigations being conducted, he said, and the video I'll send to your producer, they even have station, they should play it. He said that they are not interested in any investigations. And said, but the president says, I speak on the authority of the president. And the president says that he had to put that information out just so that he makes an example of Ntim Fordjou, not because they are interested in any investigations. And therefore,
I listened to that interaction.
Yes. And so
what I heard him say, and you engaged him, what I heard him say was that
the videos there,
was that you have put out false information, and you are being asked to collaborate with the security to investigate, so that an example will be made of you, people like you, who spread false information.
No. So if you ask questions that we have this suspicion, we are calling on security agencies to investigate and tell us if the suspicion is true or not. Is it not an inquiry? You're a lawyer. How is that false information?
You have been giving contrary information.
How is that? We asked three questions. This was one of the questions. How is that false
what the government says is evidence? You said that is also fake. You don't believe it.
No investigation has been done. When he was asked, Kwachu Fosu said that directive given by the president itself,
so
has not been carried out. No investigation has been carried out. So on what basis have they brought videos?
Hold on for me. So,
but let me just end here.
You are saying that
if they had conducted investigations.
Help me understand this. You're saying that you're going to continue to defend and justify your suspicions, regardless of what information the government puts out.
My position is that the security agencies should be allowed. They are willing to investigate and inform the public. Let them, the politicians, allow the security agencies. When they are done with their investigations, they will communicate. And the credibility of what the security agencies will put out there, even if it has semblance with what Kwachu Fusu has put out there, people will believe, because one, there was a process of investigation.
You have said that already.
And two,
you have said that already. Hold on for me. Hold on for me. Hold on.
No such investigation.
Hold on for me.
Politicians are jumping.
Sammy,
Armed forces, which we are own investigations.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you, Rev. What we are working with is see something, say something. He has seen something. He has seen a cargo with cocaine, and he said cash in varied US dollar denominations.
Well, it is very clear that he saw nothing and he had chose to say that he had seen something. So this is not a matter of if you see something, say something. This is a clear case of a member of parliament who we are told is a reverend minister deciding to peddle falsehood, deciding to lie about a government, and having been exposed is now making a mockery of himself. I mean, you listen to him. Please, when you were talking, I was quiet.
I will not sit here for derogatory comments to come from my respected friend.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody has made any derogatory comments.
You speak to the
I am saying that
and keep the sanctity
of the peddled falsehood against the government of Ghana. So let me demonstrate how you peddled falsehood. So keep quiet.
No flag came from Rwanda.
Maza, keep quiet.
So you have peddled falsehood.
Let's have a very decorous discussion. When you were speaking, I was here. And you've had ample time to make your case. Show viewers and listeners the same respect.
But keep
that I've shown you. I'm saying that you peddled falsehood. He's sitting here saying that they have suspicions. And they put out the suspicions, asking questions and, soliciting explanations from the government. Number one, you don't hold press conferences based on suspicions. That is reckless, that is irresponsible. This country is a serious country. You cannot wake up in the morning because you are hungry or you overate and said, I have this suspicion. So I hold a press conference and require law enforcement agencies to investigate your suspicions. You think that is what our security agencies are there for?
He said he was engaged in oversight duties as a member of
oversight
parliament.
Duties is not about raising suspicions. That is irresponsibility. That is recklessness.
You can't ask questions.
When you are exercising oversight, you exercise oversight based on facts. Even if you have suspicions, the suspicions must have some basis. You've not done you didn't do any checks, you didn't provide any information. And you are talking about suspicions that you require state security agencies to spend taxpayers' money in investigating suspicions? That speaks volumes of this whole matter. It speaks volumes about your own credibility. But in any case, Samson, I submit to you that his press conference did not allege suspicions and did not invite state security agencies to investigate suspicions. He is lying again because he has been caught pants down.
You have a copy of
I have
press conference.
We play the portion that you spoke about.
Are you a reverend minister?
Let me have it again. I want to read the specific portion again.
Good.
Yes, go on.
Look,
go on.
I am reading a quote from his press conference, and this quote was reported by My Joy Online. This is a direct quote, and I want to read that to you. There is no evidence. This is quote in Fordjou speaking. There is no evidence of any medical referral or patient on board. Speaking about that ambulance aircraft. Rather, our intelligence, not suspicion, our intelligence suggests that the aircraft was used to smuggle illicit cargo, unquote. Where your suspicion? Why do you lie like that? Is this, did you allege suspicion here? You are talking about intelligence. What is intelligence? Intelligence means
You continue
that you have been given,
politically.
you have received credible information about the existence of some facts or a certain situation, and you are saying that because of that, you think that these aircrafts which arrived in Ghana were used to smuggle illicit substances. You made mention of cocaine, you made mention of cash relative to money laundering and so on. Categorical allegations. Now the President of the Republic says, okay, I want to give you an opportunity to share this intelligence you have with the state security agencies so that they can investigate it. I mean, if you don't share the intelligence with the state security agencies, where should they start their investigations from? So what any responsible lawmaker exercising oversight would have done would be to say, thank you, Mr. President. I will, voluntarily, or I will happily honor the invitation of any state security agency tasked to investigate this matter.
Samson, ask him.
Yet you
had the invitation in 5 days now. Where was it?
Chief, I think that you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. Allow me to make my point. I think you are being disruptive. So you should have been happy about the invitation extended to you to adduce the intelligence you have so that the state security agencies can do what you're calling on them to do.
It's been said,
yes,
that by Felix Kwachiofosu, that it was security called Afenyo Making to make Reverend available. He denies that, and Felix is saying that he had sought to, Afenyo Making replied back that because what he was doing was an oversight job, they may have to go through the speaker. So now national security is going to write to the speaker to invite him in the same way that they have invited A+ and Mustafa.
Simply, fundamentally, if you are inviting a member of parliament, even without oversight, that's a procedure. If you invite a member of parliament, even if he spoke from his garden egg farm on any matter that requires invitation, you don't call somebody, whether he's leader, you go by procedure. Had anybody used that procedure? It has even nothing to do about that.
Yes.
Listen. You have no invitation, yet you lie.
Are you listening? Are you listening to yourself?
No.
You, a law-abiding citizen, a member of parliament, who claims to be exercising oversight, you say you have intelligence that certain aircrafts came into Ghana smuggling illicit substances. you even need an invitation before you go and do that.
That's why I wrote.
Maza, that is why I wrote. You have proven to be totally reckless and irresponsible.
That's why on second.
And if you had a conscience,
why did you block that?
If you had a conscience, you will be apologizing for that lie.
Why did you?
You will be apologizing.
You are just
the presidency.
Thank you.
I'm not done.
Hold on.
No, something. No, I think
you hold on.
Allow the security to do their job.
Reverend Fordjou, in your press statement in paragraph 1, you said that the Air Med flight and Havoc Air private jet transporting suspected cocaine and cash. And then you went ahead to give the details of the flight and the time, the period they stayed in the country, and so on and so forth. Do you know, as a member of parliament, that if I sat here and made this claim, or any Ghanaian sat anywhere and made these claims, by now they would be either in custody or they would be in court seeking bail for a trial?
Do you know that anyone behind the cocaine bust, $150 million, behind the $350 million cocaine bust, behind the money laundering and the 12 container filled with gold and cash, busted in the full glare of media by national security, among other things we are asking questions for, should have by now been arraigned before court.
That's correct.
Shouldn't we rather be more interested in that?
That does not excuse.
If they are interested in my
answer for the question I asked.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
No, but I asked you a specific question.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Because this is a liar who has been.
If the priority of the government is to seal and protect drug cartels, protect money launderers that they themselves have busted,
Those are different
going after
issues.
members of parliament.
Those are different issues
legitimately raising legitimate
this
questions.
is an allegation that you are raising, and you have to interrogate
security agencies. From when are they gagging?
Especially that you say the government position is incorrect. We have to interrogate yours.
Because the government spokesperson.
What should we do now? What should we do now?
The government spokesperson.
What should we do about what you have put out in the public? What should we do about it?
Please, the government spokesperson said that this investigation directed by President Mahama, he didn't mean it.
Let's not repeat this.
And that it was only meant to make an example.
I'm asking you, what do you want to be done?
Go ahead and make example.
What do you want to be done now?
They should go ahead and make example.
If you answer my question, what should be done about what you said now?
So let's move on.
What should be done now is for them to go ahead to say to do what they said they would do. To make an example of me and disregard the investigation that Ghanaians are calling.
You don't admit that you don't admit that you did any wrong. You don't admit that you did any wrong.
There's no wrongdoing. There's no wrongdoing whatsoever.
Is it okay for any citizen to speak about suspicion?
What is suspicion?
And speak about them publicly without talking to the security about it?
So since when did it become practice that when a member of parliament is exercising their parliamentary tools? We have a lot of parliamentary tools. One, the media is one. Raising urgent questions is one. Filing ordinary questions is one. Filing oral questions is one. Hauling legitimate, relevant agencies before the committee is one. I have used 2 of these tools in exercising this matter. And so if you consider it wrong, let the jury add their judge.
The context is that after you made a press conference, and you became aware that you may have done wrong.
I've not done any wrong.
Can I ask you a question?
That is your conclusion.
I'm asking you a question.
There's no wrong.
Please, can I ask a question, please? After you made the claims in the public, and you discovered that you were going to be a subject potentially of prosecution and jail, you decided belatedly, perhaps having been advised by lawyers,
that is false,
to now try to use the Defense and Interior Committee to ask for the security to come and brief you. Otherwise, that ought to have been your first step.
I take strong exception to that, Samson. The reason why I wrote calling for the joint meeting was because I respected the directive given by
President. Should that not have preceded your press conference?
Nothing should have preceded what we
thank you very much.
There was nothing.
Thank you.
But let me respond.
What did you want to say? Hold on.
I've not done any wrong.
Hold on.
And it is false what they are accusing.
Kofi,
you should rather tell them to do the right thing.
What did you want to say?
When the state is threatened, it is really sad that the issue becomes partisan. If we didn't have the kind of polarity we had, and somebody says or suspects that something like this has happened, and note that drug trafficking goes to personal gain and national ruin. I think that if things were better, it should not be impossible for Parliament or persons like him to even be included with the security agencies to just investigate it, not because some wrong has been done, but for the facts to be clear.
Kofi, what he did, would you advise him to have done that as a lawyer? Would you have advised him to go public and speak about suspicion and belatedly go to seek to ask for a briefing by the security to the Committee of Defense?
No, please.
Let me answer.
I'm asking me a question.
Your claim is wrong. That's not what I did.
You went to the press.
Please, your claim is wrong.
You wrote to the committee.
Samson, I disagree with you.
You went to the press on the 1st.
Samson, I disagree.
Your letter
you
to the committee
this
was
about
on the
2nd.
2nd.
And you are wrong. I keep prompting you.
Reverend.
When a member of Parliament raises a question.
Reverend.
And you
have told us here. Reverend, hold on. You had your press conference on the 1st of April, correct?
In Parliament.
Thank you. Correct?
In Parliament.
1st of April, correct? And then you wrote your letter on the 2nd of April, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Kofi.
So that letter is in response to the directive given by President Mahama. If President Mahama
you are asking for the security to come to your committee and brief you.
President Mahama said we should collaborate.
We have heard you.
Let the substance of the matter
my question to you now. Kofi, my question to you now
that must be investigated.
I'll come to you. Hold on. Kofi, my question to you
legitimate questions for investigation.
Would you have advised him to go to the press before President Mahama reacts, then he writes to the committee? Because that even gets it bad for him. But for President Mahama writing, he would not have asked the committee to ask the security protocol and brief them.
When I, in the previous government, got credible information that Chimota Forest was being prepared for sale, credible information, I went to the public
You had credible information.
Credible information.
What do you mean by credible information?
I had information that convinced me that there were preparations afoot to sell Achimota Forest.
Did you see evidence of it?
I had credible information.
Did you see evidence of it?
The information I had was credible enough, but it does not qualify as evidence. Let me finish.
If you were held to prove,
wait,
hold on.
Let me make my point.
No,
you asked the question. Let me answer.
Again, you are a lawyer.
I will digress.
Reverend Ntim Fordjou, sorry.
Let me answer the question. I will get there.
Kofi Bento, you know the basic principle.
I know.
He who alleges must prove. So if you had made that claim and you were asked to prove it, how are you going to prove it?
That is why I'm giving you the example. He who alleges must prove. You know as a lawyer that there are times when, depending on the circumstance, the burden of proof shifts. And
when does it shift? When does it shift?
My brother, you want a law lecture, or let me answer the question. When I finish, you can choose to. I said, I'm using the example of Achimota Forest.
Just tell me, would you have advised him to do what
I wouldn't advise somebody to do that, but in this space.
Why wouldn't you advise him to have done that?
Let me answer my question, please. Listen, you are dealing with a national issue. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm saying, if you would not have advised him to do that, then the position is that he did wrong. No, that's not my position. That's why I'm giving you my example. That when I put out the information about Achimota Forest, I was threatened with arrest and etc. I had my credible information. And look, if you Google Kofi Bento goof today, you see MPP people blasting me online and saying that I didn't have information because
do I hear you say?
No.
Do I hear you say? Hold on.
Don't let me finish.
No, it's important.
Yeah. I'm saying
do I hear you say? Do I hear you say? We are all at liberty to speak to suspicion, the way he did at the start, and up to today he can't give any evidential proof, and we should stay at that. And if the state gives a counter position, we should still deny and say it is fake, and we should be okay with it in the country.
Position is the official position. At this point, he cannot say he's denied it, except he has other information. But the position of putting out information which he suspects and which he has credible information, I'm saying that, look, my brother here, the president sitting in his office may not know everything going on everywhere. But you have a situation where when some of these things happen, people see it as an attack on them. That's why I'm saying the nationalistic view will be, look, let us find out what the truth of this matter is. Because we have this history, like Prof. Eni was telling you, where this country has been slipping and we are making some kind of, recovery. Let's not go back. It may be one or two persons trying to do something wrong. So, where there is credible information, and it can be proven not to be credible, we leave it. I take the information that the state has given me. But I worry because, you see, in a sense, it's the system that is being accused. What will it hurt? That's why I started by saying, if we didn't have a polarized partisan atmosphere, to include the minority side of parliament and let the security services go into it. Aircraft movement information is historical and is very meticulous. Let's just lay it out to his satisfaction, other people's satisfaction, and put out the information not in a one-sided way.
Yeah, you have said this already. Members of parliament, the minority, for example, in their oversight duty, should be holding press conferences and speaking about suspicions.
No. There is a process in parliament. There is a way to do it. Okay. What I'm saying something is that, look, sometimes you can say this is wrong, this is right. It is not always that it is black or white. There should have been a better way. I do think that the committee he occupies in parliament should have the wherewithal to, behind the scenes, go to the state authorities and say, hey, this is what we found, what do you think about it?
Okay.
And then in a way, find a way to satisfy everybody that this is not what is happening.
Thank you.
We should get to the point where this becomes necessary.
Thank you. Now, sorry I truncated your submission. Let's hear you now.
Mr. Kofi Bento is a lawyer. And he knows that spreading false information in Ghana is a crime. He knows that.
No one has spread any false information.
So you cannot say that anybody can wake up any day, put out any information, and if we don't have a polarized partisan system, we are supposed to investigate that. When the person
I didn't say that,
does not adduce any basis or evidence to substantiate that claim.
I didn't say that.
Or to even necessitate an investigation.
Sammy.
What you are doing is that you are defending the indefensible.
Sammy, you know
you are
that.
justifying something which
Sammy,
is totally wrong.
Sammy, you know that. Hold on.
At least you have given every parliament.
Hold on. I get that. But listen to my question.
You can give me 2-3 minutes before your questions come. Hear my question. You cannot ask me a question or truncate me after every
I'm not truncating you here.
You have a lot of things to say. They've said a lot of things.
I'll let you say that. So, you know that acts of corruption, drug deals,
yes,
they happen in the underworld.
Yes.
It's difficult to prove them.
Yes.
So sometimes, or most often, it is suspicion that is triggered for the investigation to happen.
My brother, it is not suspicion that is triggered for investigations to happen. And we are not talking about suspicions here. Let's not overly dwell on the word suspicion. I read a direct quote from their press conference to you. They alleged that they had credible intelligence.
But the press release is right before you. You are reading from somewhere else.
Being a nuisance. Your constituents
I take exception to that.
You are disgracing yourself.
I take exception to that.
It is not your time to speak.
I take exception to that derogatory. I can imagine.
Allow me to speak. Yes, stop this.
The cocaine and the money laundering. Who are you covering?
Look, I
can imagine your discomfort.
Can you let him
nuisance?
Okay.
I can imagine your discomfort.
You stated categorically that you have intelligence.
I will not accept it.
Now you are here. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you care about Ghana. You love Ghana.
You said more terrible
things when we were
true the allegations.
Now we have
made you to investigate
the allegations you made. At least you would have shared that intelligence with the people of Ghana. And you see, the impudence. He has the temerity to dictate to government who should speak for government. He says that the official spokesperson of government cannot speak to this matter.
Because he lied.
Who then should speak on this matter? What has Felix said, which you are proving to be a lie here? He's giving you the numbers of all the aircrafts, the dates they arrived. He told you that they had landing permits. He told you what they were carrying. He told you the number of days they had to stay at the Kotoka International Airport. He gave you the reason. But where did you get this guy?
Check the money.
What is the meaning of this?
Check that thing out.
I have never seen anybody be this disruptive on this. What is the meaning of this? Look, so he has given you all the details, and he has demonstrated to you that these aircrafts were here for legitimate reasons. They went through thorough security inspection by aviation security, by national security, by the national, by the narcotics, NACOC. All these state security institutions inspected these aircrafts, and nothing untoward has been done. He has told you where they went from here. He has given you the numbers. You can track the aircrafts. What again do you want to hear before you know that this man is lying? Because he has not given you any evidence at all. And he says that state security agencies should investigate suspicions. And Kofi Benton is supporting him. It's suspicions that is not able to substantiate. This can only happen in Ghana.
What do you call
in other jurisdictions, this guy would have been blacklisted. Look, when we were in opposition and we were criticizing the dense national organizations, we always adduce evidence to substantiate our allegations. And that is why we were never direct. Look, the only time I was arrested on the allegation that I had published false information, the matter didn't travel beyond 2 hours. I was picked from the premises of UTV on grounds that I had published false information. I went to the CID, they asked me, I provided the evidence. Matter ended. You are here. You made spurious claims. You are talking about intelligence in your possession. What are you covering? The effect that certain aircrafts were smuggling illicit. Allow the security. You don't have any evidence. It is here. And you are entertaining. You have no conscience. Allow the security agencies. You are an embarrassment. You are covering cocaine. You are an embarrassment. You are covering money laundering. And it is only in the country that you will be entertaining. And I want to say this. If this guy does not honor the invitation of national security to do that job,
all them to come and arrest me right here.
I'm saying that if he doesn't honor the invitation,
I dare you to call them to come and arrest me right here.
And he thinks that he can hide behind his parliamentary privileges. He's like bad because you'll be arrested.
Drug dealers.
Some of us will arrest MPs, and you must substantiate that.
Drug dealers and arrest innocent MPs.
That protocol must be followed.
We follow it.
That's all.
And we will get to him. We will follow it. It's just a matter of time.
But here.
Every day for Tifman, one day for master. Your cup is full. Your time has come.
Your cup
that
is
you
full.
hold one press conference.
Your cup is full.
Then
Your
go
cup
for
of cocaine.
undermine the opinion of the government.
Hold on. Your cup of
and my greatest disappointment. Look at the way
your cup of welcome back. This is News Friday, so most authoritative news. I read of it, a scintilla of it. Nobody would have asked you to put it out, and nobody would have asked you to contact the security and give it to them. How do you answer to that charge?
No, but the concern my uncle Professor Enin raised, I've already addressed it. We are in recess. When you are in recess, you don't wait till 2 months before you file an urgent question on a pressing matter. You don't wait after 2 months before you ask certain questions on the floor of Parliament. This was one of the credible tools legitimately available to the minority, and we so advisedly, in absolute circumspection, used it and brought these matters for answers, for investigations. Now, the presidency gagging the security agencies from doing their work of dispassionately investigating and communicating outcome to the public, and hijacking communication of these specific security matters, go to suggest there's something they will be hiding, particularly when the information put out there by Kwache Fosu regarding with the purpose of
you have done a minute without responding to my question.
And no, please, and the purpose why they came in and where they came from were inaccurate. They didn't come from Rwanda, they didn't come from Angola, Gran Canaria, and straight. So when you put out this false information, it goes to suggest that there is a reason why you are disallowing the security agencies from undertaking their investigations and putting out their credible information out there. So the reason why we used a press conference was because Parliament was on recess.
You have evidence, but you want to give it to the security, is that it?
I have told you what we have, and clearly, after we even ruled further to request for them to meet.
You have told me what you have. You haven't told me what you have. What do you have?
You want me to tell you on your show? You want me to tell you so and so on your show?
The onus is on you.
To give you on your show?
You are being labeled as a liar right now.
No, I'm not a liar. They are liars. So you want me to give you Samson? This is my evidence. So and so. Sammy, this is my evidence. Is that how you adduce evidence?
If you could put this information out in the public, you should better put the evidence out.
No, that advice is not taken. Thank you very much, Samson. But
okay, thank you.
But the logic that national security apparatus should not be allowed to take interest in investigating such matters and be allowed to lead the communication. And the assertion for presidency,
30 minutes. Thank you. Not 30 seconds. Yes,
they are not interested.
Kofi, all right. Kofi, how do you proceed?
Yes,
how do you proceed?
Indicating
we agreed on this. Kofi,
they are hiding something.
Thank you.
But there are other agencies who are investigating. They are interested.
Kofi, let's hear you. Let's hear you. It's your turn.
National security issues are bipartisan issues. We've had problems under all parties. When these things arise, I would think that Reverend and Co. should handle it first within Parliament and the Security Committee, and they should link up with the security agencies and try and deal with it. But we all know that sometimes there are partisan pulls in this thing, and then it may become necessary, for you to maybe bring it out and maybe raise it or whatever it is. But the point I want to make is this: it is not good for any of us when these things degenerate like they've degenerated this morning. And so I would wish that when we see some of these problems, let both parties come together and establish the truth. None of us benefits. Drug dealing, all these things, they are for private benefit and national ruin.
What do you suggest? How do you go about establishing the truth here?
Within Parliament.
How?
When he has this information, the parliamentary committee, whatever it is, they have the way of summoning, even in camera, put the information there, discuss it, make the effort. That's what I'm saying, be nationalistic about it. When it comes out like this, it's a partisan thing. But let's be clear here. Under both parties, we've had a slippage in drug dealing, in all of the, under both parties. And the people who do them don't necessarily have the sanction of the politicians. But when the problem comes, it becomes partisan, then they defend. My worry is that just like it's happened here, it will be happening in other places, and then they slip through. And when it degenerates, we will all suffer for it. So national security issues are bipartisan. When you mentioned the issue of the cocaine, over 10 containers of gold and cash enter your country. You know what? Professor will tell you, where water can pass, air can pass. If that kind of thing can happen to your country, mercenaries can come here and take over your government. So look, let's not play with them. And it's really sad that they degenerate into partisan arguments. And there should be also no recklessness or point taking. If indeed somebody was landing plane loads of cocaine and things here, don't be taking any points on it, because we are all at risk.
Okay.
So really, I'm hoping that we'll find a way to make this bipartisan. Parliament is the best.
Nonetheless, Reverend Ntim has not been reckless. You said there should be no recklessness.
No. You see,
he's not been reckless. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Not everything is a yes or no.
Thank you.
I hope he did better with it, but I don't know what kind of resistances and issues.
Thank you.
Sammy,
let's hear you. Sorry, don't intervene. I'm sorry.
$500 million.
Reverend. I'm sorry. Let's keep to the bargain. Sorry. Yes, let's hear you.
Something. It should be clear to any discerning mind out there that this issue is not an issue. It's not a national security issue, which requires a bipartisan, approach or resolution. This is a clear case of disinformation gone bad. There's a clear case of a member of parliament who irresponsibly decided to concoct and fabricate a lie against the government of Ghana to court hatred and opprobrium for the government. And he has been exposed, he has been caught pants down, and it is very clear. He himself says that he was talking about mere suspicions. So per his own confessions, he has no evidence worthy of interrogation or investigation. Again, per his own confessions, he has absolutely nothing to buttress or substantiate the allegations he has made. His Excellency the President, in a spirit of transparency and accountability, has directed the relevant state security agencies to investigate the matter, will go through the law, follow due process, and get him to appear. And should he fail to adduce evidence, he will face accountability. And that is something that we can guarantee him. So you see something? Let us stop endorsing recklessness like Kofi Bentil is doing.
And endorse cooking.
Let us stop encouraging and endorse people who set out to lie. If this was genuine, if there was some basis, we will all have said that, look, there is some basis for this allegation. Let's not dismiss it. Let's go and investigate it. We've all been in a position before. But when somebody set out to concoct, fabricate non-existent issues, lies against a government, you don't come on air to entertain, encourage, or endorse that. So what he has done clearly is irresponsible. It must be condemned. And if he is still, if I were him, I would do what gentlemen do. Look, I got it wrong. I am sorry. Forgive me. That is all. You have your honor intact. But if you continue to insist, attacking people when you know you don't have the evidence, then what you are saying is that let's delve into the matters. And should we find that these allegations were malicious, frivolous, vexatious, and all that, and in breach of the laws of this country, you'll be prosecuted because you are not above the law. And a federal market will not be able to save you from accountability in this matter.
Sammy,
that you can be sure.
Sammy, yes. So you're done with your time, but I need just a minute again with you.
Yeah.
He's raised suspicions.
Yeah.
The time these flights were leaving, we had a blackout at the airport. Some say that is curious. Like he has also raised 2 aircraft, both technical faults, around the same time. That's curious. Anybody who is well-meaning, who has come chance onto something like this, should raise an issue.
Okay, something, assuming without admitting that what you're saying is even wrong, right, that the circumstances surrounding the arrival or departure of this aircraft from Ghana is curious, okay, assuming that is the case. Curiosity is not the same as saying that I have intelligence that the said aircrafts were being used to smuggle illicit substances. That we are not talking about curiosity here. That's number one. Number two, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, who is the right person to speak on this matter. He has ultimate responsibility for government communications, because all these state security agencies are part of an animal called government, and the overall spokesperson for that entity is Honorable Felix Ofosu-Poache. Has given you the registration numbers of the various aircraft, three of us. He's giving you the time that they arrived in Ghana, why they had to overstay in Ghana. He has given you the time they left Ghana. He has given you, they have even shared with you pictures of the materials they were carrying.
One of the
so if you, and they have told you that all the relevant security agencies inspected the aircraft.
One of the flights, the first flight was stopping for what he calls technical stop. And it was also,
I think that one was the one which was stopping for screening.
Both he mentioned technical stop. And he says that it needed this certification which is required for the European countries.
Scanning and screening.
Yes.
A certification necessary for the EU market.
It took off with the cargo, knowing that it needed this certification. Why didn't he do it wherever it took off from? Why did he have to come to Ghana to do that?
But he has explained to you that where the flight took off from, that system is not available.
And Ghana is the nearest.
Yes, exactly. And all you know, that is the standard practice. That is the lie.
Thank you.
We have heard you. It's a lie.
Don't repeat it. We have heard you.
Yes.
Thank you. We are done.
Thank you. On transit, various airports for one reason or the other. That is standard practice.
Thank you, gentlemen. I want to be able to continue to refer to you guys as gentlemen, please. Please, gentlemen. Thank you. Reverend, thank you. Thank you. And I have your messages here, and I'll share it with my guests and with the rest of the world. Gentlemen, please. Rev, thank you. All right, so